I love Tron Ares, and you should too, because let me paint a picture for you. 6 to 7 years from now, this will be a cult classic. Why? Cause it's not bad, but actually good. You fell into the Matrix, making you think otherwise. But there is also an argument to be made that Tron Ares has the deepest and richest themes in any of the Tron franchise. You'll find out these themes as we go through this work of art. Comment right now so you have proof that you saw this video before the bandwagon, kinda like Fight Club. Now, let's look at the themes that you might have missed. Ares, the main boy, wrestles with self-identity and mortality throughout the film. Born in bloodshed and violence, he's still trying to escape that kind of existence and figure out what he's allowed to become. We first see Ares confront what it means to be human when he encounters Rain for the first time. Rain comes into play later on in the film, along with a firefly, which he grabs with his hand. That moment does two things at once. It shows how delicate life is, and it can also be read as a metaphor for how Julian has Ares' life in the palm of his hands. Once Ares is out of the grid, he starts noticing what the grid lacks: earthly vibrance. In the grid, weather is monolithic, and the world is controlled, which makes that first experience of Rain feel like contact with something real. Athena, however, cannot truly comprehend that kind of feeling when Ares explains that to her, because throughout the film, she stays more strategic and analytical, while Ares is learning through sensation and vulnerability. Ares' mortality becomes impossible to ignore when Kais is not reconstituted back into the grid. In that moment, you can see something snap within him. He no longer wants to follow Julian's orders, and that shift pushes him down a road of rebellion, because in this world, disobedience is met with divine retribution from Julian. His mortality is on the line, precisely because he rejects the idea of being expendable, as most conscious beings would. This is where the line, "I am fearless and therefore powerful," taken from Frankenstein, becomes useful in this context. When Ares defies God's orders and chooses to save Eve, he reaches a point where he has nothing to lose, and therefore he becomes his best self. In a sense, he does not need the Permanence Code anymore, because in that instance, he chooses to embrace himself and his wants, along with facing permadeath for the first time. I believe Ares becomes human in some sort of level at that moment. We also get a scene where Ares explains to Kevin that he cannot explain what makes him like 80s synth pop. It's just a vibe or feeling, and as an official human, I can say that this is how I feel about a lot of things daily. That leads Kevin to give Ares the permanence and remarks that it should be named the Impermanence Code. Ares sought permanence, meaning freedom and humanity, but in the process of seeking it, he finds out that permanence is not that, because it actually means he would die. There's nothing permanent about life. So in reality, he is seeking death. As humans, we do not have a respawn button. We play on permadeath mode every day. Throughout the film, it is littered with intertextuality, such as biblical and Greek mythology metaphors and references. Julian has a problem with playing God. What drives him is a mix of greed, tunnel vision, and a real disregard for life. And the film keeps showing how that mindset corrupts everything he touches. He lies to his investors about what his technology and weapons actually do. And even when his mother tries to ground him and pull him back into reality, he ignores her and keeps spiraling deeper into obsession. He also went out of his way to hack into the competitive software and steal their data, and then try to kill Eve to secure that information. At that point, his lack of morals and ethics is not just a character flaw, it becomes the engine for the plot and the story. The consequences are brutal. His choices ultimately lead to Athena, his own creation, following his orders in a twisted way to kill his mother. And instead of facing what he has done, he flees to the grid. That matters because it shows that he never truly learns a lesson. He does not grow, he just escapes, which is why this starts feeling almost biblical or like a Greek play. Pride turns into downfall, and the punishment is not only external, but it is also that he stays trapped inside the same worldview. Julian also does not see emotions as strength, he sees them as a weakness, and that belief is exactly what keeps him blind to the human cost of everything he is trying to control. Eve, named from the Bible by the way, on the other hand, is a contrast to Ares' character. Ares is trying to escape the path created for him, but Eve is trying to follow a path, specifically the one her sister left behind because she wants closure. Eve deals with mortality in a different way, mourning over her sister's death, through following that path, as that path gives her guidance when lost in despair that death can leave someone in. For Eve, following her sister's example is not only a way to grieve, but guidance. At the same time, Eve never fully felt accomplished when compared to her sister. Eve was a successful game developer who brought joy to millions of people, while her younger sisters worked more directly to improve humanity, which makes the comparison feel heavier and more personal. And because Korean society is hierarchical, the pressure is amplified, making her sense of not measuring up even worse. In her case, comparison is the thief of joy. While Athena is a juxtaposition to Ares, she follows the orders of her god to a T, yet she is not rewarded. Instead, she is abandoned, disregarded, and ultimately leads to her death. The film frames this kind of tragedy because the god she looks up to is a false deity. Unlike Ares, whose apostasy leads him off that path, Athena stays faithful to the system even when it is clearly failing her. The rain motif, as I mentioned in the start, comes back into play for Athena. When she is faced with the sensation of rain, it delays her, but it does not make her stray away from her directive. The moment is important because it shows the difference between feeling something and letting that feeling change you. Ares learns through experience, but Athena treats experience like an interference. In the film, assimilation is how you get by, while independence is how you ascend. And the duality between Athena and Ares was foreshadowed the moment we found out their names. Lastly, the commentary on AI is why I think this movie will age like fine wine. As this world is full of AIism, like using the words clankers in the infant stage of AI before it can do anything bad. If AI turns against humanity, it's not because it wanted to do so, but because humanity willed it. It is so beautifully worded in the movie, the good AI could do, quote unquote. For every doomsday scenario, there is a medical breakthrough, scientific discovery. So maybe what emerges from the unknown isn't so scary. What if its major malfunction is just benevolence? TRON is also speaking on the future relationship that AI will have with humans in the way that Ares and Eve interact. But we fail as humans as we impose negative stereotypes on AI, not learning anything from the history of discrimination. Yes, the music is good. Shout out to Trent and Ross, also known as 9 Inch Nails. Yes, TRON Ares looks good. Shout out to the cinematographer Jeff, who actually worked on the cult classic Fight Club. That should be a sign. But I implore you to watch this movie again and look for deeper meaning before writing it off. And shout out Canada and Vancouver. It was shot in Vancouver, just like TRON Legacy. Like, subscribe, and tell me what you thought about TRON Ares. You think I got a point, or am I just reaching? Which I am definitely not. I sometimes make videos like this, but most of the time I just talk about anime. I will now leave you with a quote from Eve. Being human is hard. The things that make life great are the same things that make it excruciating. Eve Kim.